without religion, are you a good person?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of people tend to be religious just because, oh, well, this book is telling me to do this,
Mm-hmm.
so I can still get to heaven. Because even though I'm doing X, Y, and Z,
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm following all these other rules, and I'm asking for forgiveness, I can
You're
still get...
automatically forgiven.
And see, that kind of rubs me the wrong way, because it's like, you should be a good person regardless if somebody's telling you to do it. Kind of like character, like, are you doing the good thing? If something, I don't know, if you make a mess at the store, you knock down a whole bunch of cereal boxes, nobody saw you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you walk away, or do you pick them up because you did that, right? And a lot of people, unfortunately, will just walk away. Nobody saw. But if somebody's watching, oh, oops, let me pick them up. And I feel like that's where, like, people like that. And I feel like maybe it's trauma. Maybe it's because of the people that I have interacted with. But I feel like that kind of pushed me away also from the church, from specifically the Catholic Church. Do you, and I know because you're more involved in,
in the church,
in your church. Yeah. Do you see that on your end? Like, do you see people living a certain way by paper? But then as you actually know this person as an individual,
they're totally different. I would call this, maybe it might sound too controversial, but that's hypocrisy. And being in the church, I'm not too involved, but being in the church, I do see it a lot. And it's quite sad though, because I feel like it blinds them. Because just because you are part of something doesn't mean you're right. You know what I mean? And I feel like I see that a lot though. Even for myself, I go to church and I've experienced where other people look down on me for no reason. And it's like, it's more of like, what did I do wrong? Why do you think you have the right to judge others for going to church? And I see that a lot. And I feel, and that's sad just because a lot of people do get away from church because of that. Nobody wants to go. People go to church to seek comfort, to not be judged. Literally, why Jesus didn't judge anybody, and to go to church and being judged just because because there's people who think they own the church, which is the truth, and end up never going back again because of a bad incident like that. Maybe I wasn't answering your question, but yeah, that's what I feel like. I know it does sound like really bad talking about like hypocrisy in the church, but even I'm not blind to it. Like, it's there. Maybe I'm stepping on some toes, but that's what I see, and that's what it's wrong. And I feel like that's what's sad, because it makes a lot of people step away from the church. And, well, for me, I feel like I believe strongly in what I like the saints, that I don't really need the other people's like opinions. Like, I don't care. But I have my faith is strong in what I believe, that I continue to go.
Your faith?
What did I say?
I don't know what you said, but I was just clarifying.
Okay, yeah, my faith. Hopefully I didn't ramble. Because I was, honestly, at the same time, like, just talking right now, I was kind of like getting it off my chest, because I see it a lot, and like, it's annoying. Like, it's very annoying.
Yeah. And I mean, you see it in the church, but like right now, and I think a lot of people would agree, we see that in our daily life in this country right now. Hopefully people don't come after me. But a lot of people will do, again, how I said earlier, they will hurt other people and justify it for whatever reason. They'll justify it. But at the end of the day, they're wearing a big cross on their chest.
Mhm.
and they're still showing up on Sunday,
Mhm.
you know, and it creates, I agree. I feel like it creates a lot of trauma for people, and that's why I feel like they do isolate themselves from the church. And I feel like that could be a small reason why one of the small factors why I kind of shifted away too. Because another thought that I had to myself, and again, I'm just sharing thoughts that I had to, you know, get me to where I am right now.
Mhm.
Just sharing my experience. But another thought that I had, because keep in mind, I stopped going, you know, every now and then, like I'll go and acompaño my grandma, my mom or whatever to a certain service or whatever with them, right? And I asked myself, because I believe in manifestation.
Mhm.
People may call it prayer. Some other people may call it prayer, but I use the word manifestation because I do. I say certain things. I speak to myself mentally, you know, out loud, even to myself, onto other people. And that, in a way, is prayer, right? Why do I have to be in an actual building that somebody put a cross and titled it a church for me to do that there than to do the same exact thing in my living room? What's the difference?
What's the difference? Well,
Still praying or still manifesting, however you want to call it, doing it in the actual church or doing it in my living room?
I feel like the purpose too of like the Catholic Church is to go, but also hear the readings and then the homily, which is kind of, at the end of the day, they kind of try to teach us something from the Bible so we can use it into our daily lives. And also as Catholics, we take the communion, which is also which should be a reminder to us that Jesus died on the cross for us, for our sins, and we shouldn't take advantage of that and actually become better people, because that's the sole reason he died for us on that cross. So that's how I see it for like why we go to church. And maybe this is like a cringy part, but I like going to church because I like listening to the readings and then actually learning something from it. Because maybe that week I was going through something hard and looking for an answer maybe, and I might get it from the readings. And that's why I like going to church. Yeah.
So you seek, I guess, the interpretation of
like the readings from the Bible.
Yeah. But what's the difference reading it from the Bible at home? I guess that's where I'm going at. Reading, because you're right? Like you you listen to certain lessons that are in the Bible, certain scriptures. And I feel like I go back to that. What's the difference in hearing it from someone else than you actually reading it yourself at home? Or like having your interpretation of it, or even using outside resources?
I feel like for me, sometimes hearing it we hear the readings, and then the priest usually interprets the readings and kind of maybe gives us like a story of like an example to kind of make us think of the reading in a different way. So I feel like that also helps, hearing it from a different point of view instead of just like reading it, because we might read something, but your understanding and my understanding would be totally different. And at the end of the day, we might learn different things. So yeah.
So you would say that there would have to be trust, right? And that person, whoever's up there giving a lecture or their interpretation of a certain, knowledge, there has to be trust there, right? You have to have full trust on that person and you wanting to go and listen to them, right? And I feel like because we kind of go back to why people kind of get away from the church, and I feel like that's another reason too, is like they lose trust. They lose trust. Like you put so much, time and effort and trust and beliefs into a system or a person. What happens when they let you down? Because they're human.
Yeah.
They're those priests, those pastors, those people that promise
they interpret the
and to spread
words.
positivity and spread knowledge, right? You put full trust into this person, whichever building you go into, whether it be a teacher, whether it be, a priest, a pastor, you put in so much trust in this one person to interpret what's in front of you, And I feel like there's some type of mistrust there too, because sometimes you hear like these crazy stories where like, Catholic priests are like in this huge, scandal when it comes to, I don't know, like sexual abuse or, infidelity and other crazy crimes, right? Would you say that there's also some type of mistrust there when it comes to people getting close to being at a place of like worship or church?
Maybe people who go to church, well, speaking for myself, I go to church, but I do trust the priest, but I feel like I've learned, and from what I've learned going to church, is we have the right to believe what's right and wrong. So it doesn't matter just because we have a priest, he's always right. We're all human, and how you said, we all make mistakes. And so speaking for myself, sometimes the priest might say something that kind of sounds maybe not right. And I choose to believe what I think is right. And it might sound a little bit of like contradicting myself, but I feel like God gave me the right to know, to feel and to know what is right and wrong. And so when I feel like something's not right, I don't take it in. And that might sound really controversial because maybe people might think that I'm not taking in the good things, I'm just taking what I want. You know what I mean?
That's good that you acknowledge that about you, though, because I feel like some people don't. Some people are just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna put my brain on pause and just, you're telling me this to be true, and even though their actions don't match what they're saying, because they're still saying it, they still follow through, and they still full-heartedly, eyes closed, like put their faith and trust on this person. And a lot of the times it doesn't match what they're preaching. And I feel like I think a lot of people, especially in the state of the country that it's in right now, I feel like a lot of people would agree that sometimes it's good to doubt whatever this person's telling you, no matter what title they're holding, whether it be a president, a priest, a pastor.
Yep. Anybody.
It does not matter.
Oh.